Morning.
Good
This
morning.
is Uncle Kevin. Thanks for joining this channel. I have the honor of interviewing the business owner of Linda's Adopt. So I'd like to find out from you, and thanks, by the way, for your hospitality. How did it all start? When did you get the idea of starting this guest house?
Well, I didn't really plan to start the guest house. I wanted to build for myself a home. Just first a 3-bedroom with a 3-bathroom house. And once I started, there was a little bit of an issue with the builder, and he made a mistake, and that forced me to go higher up instead of just everything on one level. And I thought about it, and I considered the cost of investing a little bit more in my house. And after making my calculations, I came to my attention that if instead of having just 3 bedrooms, it would be beneficial to maybe build a 8-bedroom, 9.5 bathroom home. And then of course I'm single, so what will I do with 8 bedrooms? And then when I first started traveling to Nieuwoudtville, I also discovered that the guest houses in the area didn't cater to maybe a more luxury type of living. And I saw a gap in the market for accommodation that would be comfortable, have Wi-Fi, have full satellite dish coverage for television, and have aircon, because none of the guest houses at that stage that I visited had those facilities. So I thought there's definitely a gap, because at that stage I was living in Pretoria, and coming to this area, I could not, as a person working in a corporate world, come here and not have cell phone reception or Wi-Fi or know what's going on in the world. So therefore it was necessary for me to include those type of luxuries in the accommodation that I wanted to provide to the traveller. And I started slowly. I didn't take out a financial bond at a bank or anything. And also because I'm the owner builder, you can't get a housing loan for that. They want an approved builder to do that. There is not a lot of skills in our area with regards to building, so I had to do a lot of research myself. And but I also did not want to bring, say, a set of builders from Cape Town. I rather wanted to invest in the community and supply work and give work opportunities to the local community, then bringing a team of builders from Cape Town and let's build the place in 3 months. So I decided, let me rather step back, be more involved into the building of it. Luckily, I'm technically inclined, and I could then from there started building. And we finished the bottom half of the house, and we went up. And then, as with any building contract, or when you build, you start from the bottom up, and then you finish from the top down. And therefore, still today, I'm busy. When I have the opportunity, when I'm not busy with guests, I carry on with construction, and I take it each step every day. And I've discovered that if you are patient and don't want to go and take out credit, and you rather take the money and do things yourself, you can achieve a lot with very little. But just, I'm now in year 5, but I think maybe in a year or 2 I'll be completed totally, and look at the nice investment I will have then. And that's just all with every month's savings that I've done that.
So when did you buy this property?
June 2016.
And when you started, you didn't have a plan of starting a guest house.
Never.
It was kind of it evolved, and it
evolved.
It started the idea and say, why not then
I saw the gap in the market.
Okay. Right. And so when did you start the guest house?
The 12th of August 2019.
So almost 2 years.
Yes. Now there's the 12th of August, which I think is tomorrow.
Wow.
It will be my second year.
Happy anniversary.
And my third flowering season.
and for how did you attract and find customers?
I created a website, and then I listed my property on booking.com, Travel Ground, Safari Now, all the travel, hotels.com, all the travel websites that there is available for South Africa and international. I listed it, and I just made sure my pictures are exactly on the website as it is in my guest house, and the rest was done by all of those websites. So they verify you in the beginning. I can remember booking.com phoning me and said, put on your video.
Okay.
We're going to do a video call and show me your rooms. So that, and that's their way of verifying that this, what I've said I have, that it's actually like that, and that I don't say I have a make-believe guest house. So it was a little bit intimidating, and then in the beginning, of course, not everything was completed. So what I did is to give a little bit more to the guests. I would stock the bar fridges totally with cool drinks and stuff, and just but I made sure everywhere where the guests were going was completed and was to what I promised it to be. Another thing that helps with the marketing of my property is good guest reviews. So I really, really, really try to make each guest stay as comfortable as possible, and where possible, if they ask for something, supply that to the best of my abilities. And I think if you just apply good discipline, make sure everything is clean, tidy, and what you advertise, then you'll get good reviews. It's not that difficult. And with the good reviews, the agents like booking.com, Lekker Slaap, Travel Ground, all of those, see that you have, that people are saying, this is good. And therefore, I am, for instance, on Travel Ground, the preferred partner for Nieuwoudtville. And I got that achievement just by really working hard and making sure, double checking that everything is done.
And how do you get customer review, or do they actually do it for you? Through their own process?
They do all of that. Some of the guests will go and that would book personally directly through me and not through one of the websites. They would go and give me a nice review on Google, on my Google business site. So, which is also nice. So it's very, very nice if a guest, once they've traveled, give me some beautiful positive feedback, because that is what sells the next hotel or the next room in my guest house. Because people look at those reviews, but you can only get those reviews if you worked hard. And it's hard work, but it's not difficult work.
Why did you give up corporate life for life in country?
I think a few personal reasons. I had to take care of my sister, and I wanted to to live more organically. And I'm trying to achieve that here at Linda by recycling the water. So all the grey water, that's the showers and the basins, and my washing water goes into the garden. So it goes to tanks, and then a sprinkler system look after the garden. And then I am in the process of harvesting all the rainwater from the roof, and that I will then put through a filter system. Everything is in place. I just need to buy some extra tanks. I'm short about 13 tanks. And then, so all the rainwater will then go back into the toilets, the showers and the wash basins of the guests. And that is the purest form of water you can get. It's not water that laid in a dam or things like that, or comes from a borehole. It comes straight from heaven. So I'm trying to, and then today at 10 o'clock, my electrician is coming, and we are going with full inverters and sun panels on the roof. So electricity-wise, I will have a lesser input on the environment, and so with my water and the water that I use in my garden. So coming here, I wanted to live more organically, and then I have an area in my garden that's empty. All of that I want to put into a vegetable garden, so that the food that I produce here, the salads and the veggies and the tomatoes and cucumbers and things like that, would be homegrown. And that was my first thought coming to Nieuwoudtville, is to be self-providing. Maybe have some fish in a tank that would fertilize the garden and the vegetable garden, and then also be water-wise and then electricity-wise, so that if I don't need to go out of the gate to provide food. So that was my reason for coming to Nieuwoudtville. And then it just grew into a business.
Why Nieuwoudtville, not other town in South Africa?
I first started thinking of doing what I wanted to do now, and I thought, you have a choice to live anywhere in South Africa. Go and live next to the sea, a house with a view over the sea. And I bought property, also empty stand, in KwaZulu-Natal, across the Wild Coast Sun. It's called Caribbean Estates. And then I drew up the plans, and then I realized they were a bit fuzzy about the plants that you grow in your garden, and I thought, no, I don't want to be restricted like that. I would like to decide which plants I plant in my own garden. So I sold the stand and immediately looked for another property. And what I've done then, I Googled the nicest small towns in South Africa. And at that stage, a list of 10 came up.
Okay.
And Nieuwoudtville was 7 or 8 on the list. And I just went from the top, looking at empty stands, and I found this one.
Okay.
And the architect had done my plans for the KwaZulu-Natal property. I just changed it a bit, made it a little bit bigger, because this stand was double the size that I could get in KwaZulu-Natal. And I came here and I started building.
What's the size of the stand?
2,200 square meters.
Quite a nice size.
Yes.
And let's change the topic. Let's talk about your other passion. It's about painting. And for me, I'm a beginner. I don't know anything about painting. When I look at painting, we've been to some cafes where they have display painting of some artists, and some of them look very nice and also for sale. And but I never understand the paintings market. So when how does a person go about looking for a painting, buying a painting? What should they consider?
I think you need to buy art or painting that pleases your eye, not pleases the crowd. Because art, if you look at the painting behind me, it makes me happy if I look at it. My daughter has painted this. And so when you look at art, it's like your car. Some people like a Nissan, and some people like a Ford, and some people like a BMW. And even if I can convince you to drive a Range Rover, you would not do it because maybe you're a Ford person. So the same with art. It's very much personal taste. Sometimes I would also look at artwork and I would say, how can they charge X amount for it? Art and wine it's all personal taste, and it's the value that you would put behind it. You get different styles, you get different mediums in art. This is acrylic, you get oil work, pastels, charcoal work. There's so many different ways of filling a space, because that's actually what you're doing. You're filling a space, and the value of that is what it's here for you, not what it's for the person next to me. So this painting will be very valuable for me because my daughter has done it for me, but it may be not as valuable for you. Maybe it's too defined, maybe the colors is not right for you, maybe you want something more that looks like the real flower. My mother also painted, and she when she's done her painting or a drawing, it looks like the real thing, it looks like a photo. Where I myself, when I paint, I'm more abstract, more rough. You must look at it and then you must think it looks like maybe a flower.
For someone who would be entrepreneur, what word would you have for that person to start their own business?
Do research. Make sure the product you want to sell is sellable, and do not listen to your friends or your family, because they will always tell you, no, why? Why do you do that? Why don't you just go and work for a boss? Yes, it's easy to work for a boss because you have paid holiday, you have maybe a bonus, you have sick leave. When you work for yourself, there's no office hours. You work until the work is done. You need to know that there's going to be perseverance. You need to apply extreme discipline for your finance. Have a nest egg for something, God forbid, like COVID hits you, that you will still be able to survive. But even working for a company, if COVID happens, the company can go down. Be prepared, and be prepared that life is a journey. When I started this guest house, the neighbors and everybody said, why do you want to start the guest house? There's enough guest houses in Nieuwoudtville. They're not occupied full time. And I had all of these in Nieuwoudtville. Who will stop here? And then I started it, and I was fully booked 90 days non-stop. And then out of that 90 days peak season, I had still 50% occupancy, which is fantastic for a small place like Nieuwoudtville. Because people said, but we will stay there. But we are so remote, but there's still people on the highway traveling every day and they need to sleep somewhere and eat somewhere. So I saw that opportunity and I took it. And you don't have to have a lot of cash and you don't have to do it tomorrow. You can start slowly, still keep your regular job and then move into it. But never let your business own you. So if something goes wrong and you are not prepared or you can't go on, don't hang on to something that's not working. Leave it and start afresh with something else. You've gained lots of experience. But if you work for a boss, you also gain experience on their cost. But if you work for yourself, the experience that you gain is on your cost. But it's worth your while to employ. And I employ myself. I make a good living, and I employ 3 to 4 permanent workers. And in the future, we will double that figure, which wasn't here before.
Thanks so much for sharing your work and your time with us today.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you like this episode and share it with your friends.